What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Burnout Brighter podcast. This is episode 82. My name's Matt. I'll be your host for this evening's events. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, Darren.
Hello!
And my lovely co-host, Destiny.
That's not even how we're going to be situated, I don't think. I think it's like one over and then down.
Because I think I put myself in the bottom left corner. I think I put Darren above me and Destiny up here, I think.
I don't think so.
Well,
but now just watch the video and see where. Who knows where we'll end up?
Lovely co-host Destiny around in this ether.
In this area somewhere
around here, because that's right, the podcast does have video now, so if you are curious and you are just one of our audio listeners, go check out the YouTube. Find us over on Burnout Brighter, where we have reviews and lots of stuff, and the podcast now has our faces all over it, so
Look
you can see us being dumb.
Okay.
Oh my god. On this week's show, we are going to be talking all about anxiety. We each played a little game called Adventures with Anxiety, so we're going to be talking about that. And in terms of news, we're going to be talking all about Ghost of Tsushima getting a movie, indie games on Game Pass, Sony closing its PlayStation 3, PSP, and Vita stores, Pokemon Go developer making Pikmin. It's going to be one hell of a show. So thank you for joining us. But we are going to start out this episode, as we always do, with a round of random questions. And I'm going to start with Darren.
Yes.
Who I think is going to be up here. Darren, if I had to ask you a question that I had not prepared for, like I do every week when I ask you a question that I did not prepare for, and as I ramble on here, as I think about, I got it. Darren.
Yes.
Let's say Mr. Nintendo comes knocking on your door, right? Mr. Nintendo comes on over, knocks on your door and says, "Hey, Darren, I want to give you lots of money." Okay? And I want you to design a Nintendo Land-esque theme park area to add on to Nintendo Land that's not Mario related. What game would you turn into a part of an amusement park, and like kind of how would it go? What are some of the things you can do there?
Well,
Kirby.
his first
Sorry.
It's my question, Destiny.
Sorry.
Don't steal this from me.
Sorry.
Listen, Darren, something that you have to understand is when you're a couple.
Shut up. I knew you were going to do that. Shut your mouth.
Shared. It's not me or you, it's ours. Right? Anyways, back to your question, your being plural.
Yes. Okay, so the first mistake was giving me a bunch of money. The second mistake was trusting me with this big decision. I think Destiny clearly has thought about this more than I have already, because I had all this time and I still haven't decided. Because like my heart wants to say Metroid, because it's like my favorite game series. But I don't think that would sell well. I think what they should do, I think the next logical step would be actually Legend of Zelda. And I think the way this would work is, obviously you got to have a roller coaster, like a thrill ride, and you've got to have a kids coaster, and you've got to have like a navigation area, like where areas you just like walk around in and gift shop. So the area would be modeled after like Kokiri Forest. Okay. Like Ocarina of Time, Kokiri Forest. So you've got your shops. You've got like the Great Deku Tree. Great Deku Tree, by the way, that would be the thrill ride. It would actually be, you'd go inside the tree, and this is where you'd kind of break the theming a bit. On the inside of the tree would actually, I think, be like a coaster that takes you around a bunch of different Zelda locations. Like you go into like a portal basically, and you get like teleported around to like Skyloft or something, and then the roller coaster would be like, you'd be on the bird and the bird would be flying around from Skyward Sword. You'd have a side attraction of the Lost Woods, which would be like a maze, and you'd be like running around the Lost Woods. And then the kids like ride, I think would be probably just like, do you know that bird from Ocarina of Time, that really annoying bird that like asks you, "Do you understand?" and the default is no, and he'll say his long ass like spiel over and over and over again as you're mashing through it.
Right?
Do you remember that at all?
Are you trying to traumatize these children?
Yeah, so that's not the ride. The ride would be you'd sit on the owl's back and he'd like fly you over Hyrule. And like you'd get like an overview of the Kokiri Forest and like some of the other like attractions and stuff, kind of like the
That's
Yoshi
cute.
ride in Nintendo World. Yeah.
You wouldn't make it like Navi, like float around on Navi, and the entire
Oh
time
my
Navi
God.
can just pepper you with questions and
No,
things.
what you would do is they'd give you like free headphones, and the entire time you're on the ride, Navi's just yelling in your ear the whole time. Hey,
Hey,
listen! Hey, listen! Look over there!
Hey,
Oh, hey,
listen!
look over there! And yeah,
That sounds horrible.
Hey, listen!
Well, there'll be like a petting zoo part with chickens that you
oh
can
my
course
God,
pet
yes, the
Hmm.
cuckoos.
for
And-
Matt.
Yeah, exactly. Matt will come in, and every kid will get an ice cream cone, and then
Or
They're-
popcorn.
or
Something that
popcorn.
would attract the animals.
Exactly. So you get the feeling
I'm not going to
of
this
being
stupid place.
assaulted by a flock of chickens, just like in the Zelda game.
I love it. That's
No,
the best
nothing.
part.
I was in right up until the end, and now I am so
That's
far
the
out.
best part. Kids love animals.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's true. Yeah,
Am I
feel
going
like
nuts? Do you guys hear a bird?
Yeah, it's outside.
I
And I
just
can't
like-
control that. I
No, I
cannot
know you
control
can't.
the bird.
I was just like, am I losing it? We're talking about chickens, and all of a sudden this bird starts up.
Wait
I
a
was like-
minute. Hold on. I'm so sorry. You just cut this. Jackie? Yeah. Can you close the window? Okay.
I'm not cutting this.
I hate you so much.
Okay, so Darren's would be all Legend of Zelda
Fucking
horror
loud-ass bird.
nightmare theme.
Okay,
I was sitting here and I was convinced that I was starting to lose it. I was like,
I was
yeah,
wondering why your face was doing that. I thought it was because I was like thinking about the theme park, but then you were like, "Are those birds?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you're outside."
All right, so Darren's Legend of Zelda Chicken Nightmare Land.
Mhm.
I was in right up until the end, Darren, but you know what? I appreciate how much you threw that together, but I now am going to do something I don't usually do, but I'm going to throw the same question to Destiny because you seemed so ready with that Kirby question, the Kirby answer, that
Yeah.
I have to know what you're thinking about a Kirby themed theme park.
I want to know more too.
Kirby
Please
theme
tell us
park.
more about the Kirby theme park.
I didn't really think a lot about it. I just know Kirby's super cute, and I think he would merchandise really well. So that's
Okay.
what I thought about. Plus, like, just think of all the different types of foods you could have that are like Kirby vised or
I want
Kirby
like a
sized
maximum
or Kirby.
tomato cake.
Well, I'm
like a-
just thinking like how, like just all these like because he eats so much, like
Yeah,
all these like
he-
cute little themed like restaurants and cafes that are like Kirby themed.
He eats
And
a lot
then
of
like
food.
I guess for like kind of like rides and stuff, I feel like because Kirby's so versatile, like you could do so many things, and it doesn't have to be like within like one single world because Kirby's in like a lot of different worlds. So
Yeah.
it could be like a mismatch of like just the different worlds that he's in, and like each ride can be themed after like a particular Kirby game in the world that he's in.
And I think like the roller coaster should look like the warp star, so like you're flying on the warp star, and like you said,
That
you go
would
to
be
these different
dope.
areas.
Yeah. I was just
Yeah,
gonna say,
and then I think for like little kids, it could be like a huge like Kirby shaped thing where they go in and they jump. And there's a bunch of like balls and like Kirby stuff,
oh
That's
my
awesome.
God,
like in his
yes.
mouth.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be cute? Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, I
Now,
think your
let's take
answer
it
is
one
much
step
better than
further.
mine.
We can, yeah, because there's no
No.
chickens involved in hers. It's obviously better. By default, hers wins.
I added the
That's-
chickens though, so I feel bad.
I'm-
Just
yeah.
sabotage Darren's answer.
No, I'm also
and make a better one.
I'm desperately trying to remember right now if there are chickens in a Kirby game so that we can work chickens back into this thing. There's got
I
to be
don't think
chickens.
there are.
I can't remember.
No, I don't think there's any chickens in Kirby. God damn it. There's
No.
like, no, you're safe, Matt. You're safe from Kirby.
You know what? I'm gonna go start playing every Kirby game just for the lack of birds. New favorite Nintendo franchise. Okay, so we got Kirby and we got Zelda for Mr. Nintendo coming and knocking on doors for new theme park stuff. Who has a question for me?
How about we throw that same question to you, and
Yeah.
you
Okay,
have
fine.
to add on to this park?
So for me, I would 100% make it Pokemon themed,
That makes
and
sense.
like,
I think that fits.
yeah,
Yeah.
'cause, like, I think it would be like they already have their like, so at their current one, right? You get like a bracelet when you go in, and there's like different little side things that you can do. I think it would be cool to use that to like catch different Pokemon that are like in specific areas around the park.
Oh my
And
God,
like
yeah,
you have
you
to
could
do like different little mini games and
integrate
stuff.
that
kind
with
of like
Pokemon
a-
Go. Integrate with Pokemon
Yeah.
Go.
Like, but like kind of like I think it would be cool if you took it a step further and kind of like, you know how like they have those buildings with laser tag in it, but
Yeah.
you'd go in and you'd have like holographic like Pokemon that you actually fight with other people.
I would
Oh,
that
lose
was
so
my
cool.
mind.
That would be really dope, right?
I'm
Oh
also
my
thinking
God.
about like you can also have like a Pokemon Snap themed ride. So like at one of the ones in one of the Disney World things, there's like a Buzz Lightyear thing where you ride and you shoot stuff. But instead of shooting stuff, you would have like cameras that you would like look around the ride as it goes by, and you're trying to like take pictures of Pokemon. I think that would be super dope.
And that would be cute.
And
I
then
think
like
kids would really like that.
yeah, and I think it would be so easy to like have different rides themed on the different locations of Pokemon. Be like, this one's a Johto ride, this one's a Kanto ride, and you have like different sets of Pokemon available in different areas and stuff. And like, I think that would be really cool. I want this now, really bad.
I think
I
you
don't-
should do it. I think you should also have like different centers, like from the
Yeah.
original Pokemon. And so like when kids go in, like maybe they can have something, like if they have that thing, they get something if they visit each center.
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah. And then
That'd be
like
cute.
it'd be cool if they did like because I think the way that those things work as well is there's like a check-in thing where you could see which activities you have and you haven't done. Same way you could like do that, and it would be like a Pokedex showing you which Pokemon you have and haven't caught yet. So like,
Right.
you could run around and try and catch them all.
That'd be cool.
Mr. Nintendo, we have 2 great ideas for Nintendo themed stuff. Please call us.
and
one
one
of
with
them can
chickens.
also be a good idea.
think the Zelda one is really good.
I thought so too, right until the birds were
The
added,
chickens.
and it just went
If you
right
don't
downhill.
hit the chickens, they don't attack you. That is the thing. They
Just
don't
like in real
attack you
life.
unless you attack them.
What do you mean, just like in real life? Chickens are little dinosaurs, and they're very mean.
They don't attack you
They
unless
do.
like
They do.
Okay.
And actually, for the
Okay.
record, if you're going to do a Kirby theme park as well, you've got to have all of Kirby's friends there too, right?
Mhm.
That's
Guess
true.
what?
They'll
2
be
of
around in
Kirby's-
costume.
Exactly. And 2, that's 4. 2 of Kirby's friends are birds.
That is true.
There
Which
is.
one?
But they're
a-
cute.
Name them.
I'm trying to
No,
remember.
too late. It's been too
They're-
long.
It's in Kirby's Dream Land 3. They show up in Kirby's Dream Land 3.
Listen, everybody knows that Kirby's Dream Land 3 is the like the child that we don't talk about, right? That's the one that gets locked in the basement and left there. So like we don't talk about that one. Those birds would not be there, and we can continue on with 2.5 great ideas. Anyways, that was a good question that we all answered. Let's move on before we keep talking about stupid birds. Let's go to Destiny first. Destiny, what's new? What's been going on?
Well, I've actually been doing gaming related stuff. So I picked up a game called Octopath Traveler.
Yes,
Oh, interesting.
Octopath is
Really?
great.
Really enjoying it because it has like that vintage style, but it's like an updated. I don't know how to explain it, but it's fucking cool.
What was
It's
the terminology they used for
three-dimensional,
it?
like 16-bit. It's really weird.
Yeah. It's really weird, but like amazing. And the voice acting, I didn't expect voice acting. The voice acting is really well done in the game as well.
Yep.
So, I've
Where are you
spent a
playing it?
couple of,
On
on
Switch?
Steam.
On Steam? Nice.
So I spent a couple of hours playing that. And then I discovered this adorable show. Oh my God, it's so freaking cute. It's called City of Ghosts.
Okay.
And it's like animated. It's on Netflix. Guys, please check it out. It's these little kids and they have like this little ghost. There's only like 6 episodes. They have like this little ghost team, but like the animation is so dope and it takes place in LA. So like the scenery around it is like real pictures of LA. And I think, Matt, you should watch the second episode because it's not like each one is like its own contained episode, but the second one is about this girl who's like a skater. And so she starts hanging out with this pro skater ghost. And it like the whole thing is kind of like it talks about like the skating scene in California and like how like they used to watch these VHS tapes, and back then they didn't have skate parks. They would just kind of build whatever they could build. And I know you're kind of into skating and like Tony Hawk and stuff. So the episode is super fucking cute. Like the whole show and the way it's animated and the way it's done and the voice acting is like superb.
I'll check it out.
I've been
it looks really
watching that.
cool.
It's so cool. It's so cool. So I've been doing that.
Netflix.
And yeah, it's on Netflix. And been playing some Valheim and got in an argument with my friend about it because I want to build a castle. And he says you should build the castle where it's dangerous because why else would you build a castle? Like you build it because it needs defenses, right? Against enemies, which I agree. But I feel like, usually when people build castles, it's not why enemies are attacking them simultaneously. So I was like, I want to build it in peace. And then if things come, they come, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would I pick the most dangerous place to try to start and build a castle?
That doesn't
So he got
sound
mad at me.
that fun. Like, let's go to the worst place where even building it will be a nightmare because we're constantly getting attacked.
Thank you. That's what I said. So he got mad, and that made me mad. So I was just like, I'm not going to play.
I think
and then he
your friend
apologized
needs to look
later
up,
because.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think your friend needs to look up more history of castles because I don't think there are many castles in the world that were built under the threat of violence as they were being built.
Thank you. It doesn't make sense, does it? It does not make sense. So I was like, I'm going to do what I want to do, and you can go do what you want to do.
So you know what, actually, Darren, in historical times when there was like a big battle, right? When like two sides would like rush each other, there was actually a group of bricklayers smack dab in the middle of both sides. That would just be, lugging giant stones on their backs. Exactly.
You're right.
And just dropping shit down.
I think I heard of that. And the moat diggers, right?
Yeah.
And so
the
moat diggers would be digging the moats, but then like they would moonlight as grave diggers
exactly
at night.
And it would get really confusing when the moat diggers and the bricklayers didn't really communicate and they built their stuff in the wrong position. Then it's like, who has to rebuild? Do you move the bricks or do you move the moat?
Sometimes it would turn into a straight graveyard because they would just fuck up and not listen. So
yeah, and sometimes it would just turn into a river.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
that was history with Burnout Brighter.
But yeah, so that's what I've been doing, just like playing Valheim, playing Octopath Traveler, which I really like. And got back into some Dave Chappelle because I hadn't watched it in forever.
Did they add him back on Netflix?
Yes, they did.
Right.
He was like, take my shit off.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right. They took it off. And then like he got the rights to whatever. And then he was like, all right, y'all can play my stuff now. So been watching that.
I don't know if they added him back. I don't know if they added him in Canada, although I haven't really checked. I would like to go back and watch him. But
he's definitely here in America. I just watched the one with Brady, whatever his name is, Brady. What's his name?
Wayne
oh my
Brady?
God.
Wayne Brady?
Wayne Brady. Because he makes Bryant Gumbel look like Malcolm X. Okay, wait. Do you guys know who Malcolm X is? Because it's
Yeah,
not
we
funny
know.
if you don't know.
Yeah.
No, I know
Okay.
who Malcolm X is.
Okay. Okay. Matt doesn't know.
I do know.
Okay.
I do know. I
It was
just
the
don't.
way
Under-
your face. Your
Well,
face
because
was
I'm-
like, yeah.
I do know. I've just never watched the Chappelle Show, so that's why I don't. That's why I know who
You never
Malcolm
seen the
X is.
Chappelle
I've just
Show?
never watched it.
How have
No.
you never seen the Chappelle Show?
I don't know. I just never have.
Oh my
So
god,
good.
where have you been? It's so good.
I've heard. I've just literally just never watched it. I have no reason
Oh.
for it.
What?
What?
Watch it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm looking
watch
it up
a summary.
right now to see if
Darren.
it's on Canadian Netflix. And I'm just gonna post it to Matt so he can find it. Sorry, yes, Matt. What's going on? You have a question for
Darren,
me?
you know that
Yeah?
you checking Canadian Netflix isn't going to matter while I'm here in Korea.
Oh,
I'd have
Don't
to
you
check
have a
Korean
VPN?
Netflix. I would, but then I can just VPN to America.
Oh, true. Well, it's there. So-
Yeah, okay. And
Darren, what's new?
it's not on Canadian Netflix, anyways. We got the raw deal.
Haha.
You know, we. Oh my god, I lost my train of thought. I got my train of thought
Darren,
back.
what's new? Okay.
That's new. But no, I was gonna say before I got into what's new, I had a couple of games that I wanted Destiny to look at to see if she was interested in playing these games. They're
Woo.
indie games that came out on Switch, and both of them look really, really cool. First one just came out, was called Genesis Noir, which is like it's like a cosmic noir story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's if you like some kind of like detective puzzle solving,
Mm-hmm.
the art style is both these games. The art style is like freaking amazing, and that's why I'm recommending them to you. So one of them's called Genesis Noir.
Oh.
This does look
That's
really
like
cool.
very trippy art
Ooh,
style.
I'm looking at it right now. That looks dope.
The game actually looks like that. My mom bought it, and she was playing it, and she was having a really, really good time playing it. Some of the puzzles apparently
Oh.
get pretty hard, but like it's just so cool to look at. And
I'm gonna get it.
yeah, that one you should look at. And the other game is both on Steam and Switch. It just came out on Switch, but it's been out on Steam for like a year. It's called Later Alligator, and it's made by a
Yes,
comic
dude,
artist.
I've been looking at this game.
It just looks like a super cute. It's like a weird
Oh,
mini
that
game
looks
collection.
so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get it now.
Yeah, I've been looking at Later Alligator for the last couple weeks, like being like, do I buy it or do I not buy it? It looks super, super cute.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of mini games. It has less of a story and more of just like a collection of mini games, but they all are just like so beautifully done. It looks so funny. I haven't picked.
There's
that
a
one
free
yet.
demo
Okay,
on
well,
Steam.
I'll download the demo on Steam probably. See if I like it. But that's
You
not
little
what's new with
squirrel.
me. That's just game recommendations, so Destiny can spend more money.
Sounds good.
Sounds wonderful.
What's been new for me is I've been playing. Well, it's kind of like halfway indie now because I guess it's an indie studio, but it's funded by Microsoft. I've been playing Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
Nice.
Oh,
That's the second
yeah.
one or the first one?
The second one. I played the first one a long time ago on Alistair's recommendation and loved it. And I finally got around to playing it on Switch. I am 30% of the way through the game. It's like a, like Metroidvania style, like explore this big side-scrolling open world and collect power-ups that help you get to new areas. And
it's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
it is just stunningly gorgeous. It's also got probably like the best movement mechanics in like a side scroller that I've played. It's just so fluid. Like it's all based between like an attack called bash and an attack called grapple, where bash is you jump off of enemies and grapple is you grapple to another point. So like as you're running through the environment, you're just like darting around in this like super engaging, fun like movement style, and the music is just pulling at your heartstrings with the violin the whole time, and it just is it's like cute, beautiful overload, and I love it. And
How
I think
How are you enjoying it compared to the first one?
I think I'm liking it better. It's just kind of bigger. There's like side quests and more characters to talk to. And grapple is new. They didn't add that in the first. I don't think it was in the first game. I think they added it to this game, so the movement is like very good, very quick. And like the combat's much better. The first game's combat was like really, really weird, but they added like different kinds of weapons for the second one. The only complaint I have is grapple as an ability is a little finicky. It's like not really always working the way I want it to, but the game's just so beautiful. Like I don't even care. It's just beautiful, and it runs beautifully on Switch too. I haven't had any issues at all.
Nice. That's awesome.
So just mwah, chef's kiss, perfect. What?
I forgot something. Matt, did you get those amiibo cards for?
Haha, no.
Okay, so Jackie told me, and she was okay. So it was like.
So hold on, some clarification.
Sorry.
Animal Crossing just dropped some Sanrio, which is like Hello Kitty and stuff, amiibo cards, and they sold out friggin' instantly everywhere, and they're impossible to find. Continue, Destiny.
Really?
Impossible.
So yeah. So the thing is that Jackie has been watching for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the day that they dropped at Target, you could only order them online. You couldn't go to the store and pick them up. And like, I think they were blocking people from buying it. So Jackie was like, dude, I need you to keep trying to buy these fucking cards. I'm going to drive to Target. And like, while I'm driving, I need you to try to buy them. This is like at 8 a.m.
Yeah,
like, she told me this at like 7 a.m. or something. So she's like, I need you to
9
just.
9 a.m. and they were gone.
She's like, I need you to just keep clicking buy. Just keep clicking buy. So for like an hour, I'm just like, buy. And I finally, like, we got them.
No way!
So, okay, you're going to get mad at me. Because I saw your message on Facebook, and Jackie was like, oh, if he needs some, I'll buy some more, because I bought the first 2 packs, and I'll go to the store and pick them up for him, and you can just mail them. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. But then I saw somebody messaged you back and was like, I'll go get some or something, like on Wednesday.
They were going to like a faraway city in Korea, and then I just never heard back from them.
Oh, because then I was like, oh, well, it looks like he has it. So I didn't get them.
Oh, no.
Because I was like, somebody's already doing it for him. But you know what I'll do? I'll check. And if they have them, then I'll send them to you.
They're sold out everywhere. They're like long gone. People are like fighting for them online. They're like on eBay now. The packs are like, they're like $6 normally. The packs on eBay right now are selling for over 100.
What?
Yeah. We got like 4 packs. Jackie.
You have 4 packs?
Yeah, because I bought 2 and then she bought 2. How many packs of amiibo cards did we get? 4? 4. Yeah. I'm sorry, Matt.
Podcast over. Bye, guys.
I thought somebody was getting them for you, but Jackie really was like, we'll order some more. She was just going to have you order them. And we were
Thanks, Jackie, for being a real friend.
Matt says thank you for thinking of him, even though I didn't tell him. She laughed.
I heard her. Anyways.
I'll check and see if they still have
If anything, I'll just make you bring yours or send yours over so we can just scan them and then I'll give them back.
Oh, can you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, then I'll just do that.
Yeah, they're not like one-time use.
Oh, they're not?
I didn't know that.
I don't think so. Why? How would they be one-time use?
I don't know. I thought there was like a code on them or something.
You just scan them. I can't see them.
Yeah, but isn't it scanning a number?
Yeah, it might have like something inside it. Like it's got a film.
I'll
like
check.
A magnet.
I'll check.
Otherwise, you could just
if it
post
doesn't,
a photo
then
on
you
the
can
internet.
just have mine.
People do that though.
Yeah. Oh.
People make like coins of them, and then you can just buy the coins if all you're looking for is to get the items.
Okay.
You can make your own amiibo cards.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, if you just want the items, right? Because it's just items, you can just come to my island and buy them.
There you go. I'll tell Senna to do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if she wanted any of the villagers to. Anyways, we'll talk about this after. But that's awesome. That's awesome that you got them.
Sorry, guys.
Very cool.
Darren,
Matt,
is
what
there
have you been up
anything
to?
else new for you?
No.
Okay, my turn.
I'm done gushing about Ori.
I've been playing a whole bunch actually. I picked up Monster Hunter Rise and I'm having a blast with it. It's really fun. So compared to World, like I really liked World, but I never finished it. I felt like World was more kind of like it's kind of heavier. Like I felt like kind of like a knight or like a samurai. Like everything's kind of heavier. Like the time to get to the monsters and the time to take them down is longer. Like it was just more of like it was just a longer experience. So there's nothing wrong with that. But Rise feels more like being a ninja, and you have like your wire bug, which you can like kind of like Spider-Man swing to different areas and stuff. And like the time to get to the monsters and the fights are quicker. And it feels fantastic. I'm really, really having a lot of fun with it. And like they already promised their first content update, which like all this stuff, like a bunch of their stuff is going to be free. It's coming in April. And it's already sold like 4 million copies in like 3 days.
Shipped 4 million copies.
Shipped 4 million copies.
Oh, okay.
Which like World did the same thing. Like World did 5 million in 3 days, but World was also on multiple consoles. This is just Switch in 4 days. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's the game is a lot of fun. The game's a lot of fun. I'm really, really liking it. Sen and I also have been playing It Takes Two, which is a new game from Hazelight, which is one of EA's studios, made by the guy who did like A Way Out and Brother, and the guy that said "Fuck the Oscars."
Yeah.
Oh, that was a sad story.
It was a really good game, though.
This one is about like, so the story in this
one
so
couple?
far. Yeah, it's co-op. It's forced co-op. You can't play this game by yourself.
Oh my god, it's so cute.
Yeah, and it's awesome because like if one person buys it, the second person can play with them for free, even if they're not on the same console. It's really cool. But basically, the story is horseshit. So far, it's like it's about a girl finds out that her parents are getting divorced, and then she starts like crying into this book, and then her parents become these like dolls, and it's the story of them and as a magic book that comes to life, who's like this like Spanish stereotype of this like, oh, look at me, I'm the man of love, look at me, I'm going to save all your problems. Like it's really, really stereotypical in terms of like its portrayal of that character. And it's basically like the whole thing is like divorce is bad. Nothing like this. Like you can if you just talk about it and learn to work together, divorce can be overcome. So like the story is bad. So far it's horseshit, but the gameplay is some of the most creative and fun I've had in a co-op experience in forever. Like mechanically and like the game itself is so much fun to play, and they do so much with it. Like every area has like different special abilities and stuff, and like you have to work together, and the way that you do different things together is incredible. Like I'm having so much fun with it. Senna and I have played until like 2 or 3 in the morning the last couple nights in a row because like we just can't stop playing it. It's really, really good. So if anybody's looking for a new co-op experience, and like I'm seeing a lot of people online saying the same thing, like play it with a loved one, playing with a couple or whatever. Like it's fantastic. It's really, really good. And then I also picked up Yakuza Kiwami 2 again, continuing my way through that because next week's show is going to be all about Yakuza, so get ready for that. So I won't talk any more about Kiwami 2 now, but yeah, Monster Hunter Rise and It Takes Two both have been friggin' awesome.
That's I mean, that's a studio Oh.
No, go ahead. What?
No.
Speak your truth, Darren.
Okay. The studio that made It Takes Two. I can't remember the name of the studio. Do you remember the name of the studio? Hazelight, right. They've always been really, really good at mechanics, like ever since Brother. Like that's what they like specialize in. So I mean, I'm happy to say that I'm happy to hear that it's fun to play, but that's just really disappointing that the story's like bad. Like it doesn't ruin your experience at all.
No, because like the story is just kind of, it's just there. Like the main characters themselves are more or less fine. Like the way that the characters are written isn't horrible. Like they're just this arguing couple, right, who are finding common ground. Like it's not offensively bad, right? Like there's nothing about it outside of like the book, the character of the book that's just friggin' annoying. Like it's not like, you know, like it's kind of like Parent Trap-esque. Like if you got mad at Parent Trap for its story of divorce bad, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of in that same realm. but it doesn't take away enough for me to really really love this game for it being a game. The story is just whatever.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Now
But
continue before I cut you off.
yeah, I also have a game recommendation for Destiny. If we're doing game recommendations for Destiny Day, and
Oh.
it's one Destiny that's already been on your radar, but like I'm like this close to buying it as well, and that's Littlewood. Do you remember that one? It's
I think I
finally.
got it.
Did you pick it up?
I think I did, but I didn't play it yet.
It's
Hold
out on
on.
Switch now, and it's just basically like Stardew meets Animal Crossing, and it's like the whole premise is that like you're a hero after the world's already been saved, and now you're like I guess have amnesia or something, and you're like tasked with rebuilding your town. It looks It looks adorable, and apparently it's really really good. So I'm like this close to picking it up, but I'm gonna finish what I'm playing now first. But you should also, if you haven't already, you should check out Littlewood because it looks cute as hell, and apparently it's really good.
I
Very
have it
cool.
on Steam,
There you go.
but I haven't installed it yet.
Check it out because I think I mean you already have it, but yeah, apparently it's supposed to be great. But there is one more game that the three of us had played, and Destiny, you brought this game up actually, and it's called Adventures with Anxiety. And last week we talked all about
Yes.
phobias and fear, and this week we're going to talk about that game and our experiences with dealing with anxiety. So Destiny, tell me, how did you come across this game, and why did you want to talk about it?
So you guys know, like, I'm obsessed with watching people play games. And sometimes if I see a game that looks really interesting, like I won't watch them play it, I'll go play it for myself. And I just came across like, your YouTube suggests stuff, and I just
Mhm.
came across it because I thought the art style was kind of cute. So I started to watch the video, and I was like, wait, I think I really want to try out this game. So
Mhm.
then I went, and it's free to play.
Yep.
So I went and I tried it. It's like a 30-minute game.
Mhm.
And I was very impressed. Like, I hope the maker, which we'll talk more about later, but I hope like they make more games because it was entertaining. I felt like, not that it was super informative about anxiety, but it puts you in situations where you could relate to like the anxiety that the main character was going through because it was based on your choices.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just thought that was really interesting.
So Nikki
But yeah.
Case, which is the lead developer on the game, actually has like a bunch of other experiences and games and stuff on their website, dealing with like coming out to your family, or like there's like a lot there. I haven't checked it all out yet, but I'm going to go over and take a look. So if you're curious, so Adventures with Anxiety, and I'll put the link to the game in the show notes. So if anybody's curious, yeah, like you said, Destiny, it's only about 30 minutes. I finished it in probably about 15 because you can turn the text speed up, and that's what I did, and then just went through it. I loved it. I thought I haven't had like such a visceral turnaround moment in a game in a while, because as soon as I could play and like the character kind of just like frames over to the seat and pulls out the thing, I was like, oh, this looks like it's kind of low quality, but let's see. And then immediately like the fox appears, and it's like, oh shit, no, this is fluid and beautiful.
Yeah. And they did it on purpose because it's like, and
Yeah.
then you watch the rest of it. It's just done so well.
Yeah, and like it deals with anxiety, and you like basically like live out this person's life, or parts of it, and dealing with their anxiety. Dan, what did you think about the game?
I loved it. Yeah. So also I just want to give a shout out and say that Nikki Case is Canadian. So very, very cool.
What?
But yeah, no, I loved it. I really loved the game. It like I feel like it's really hard to, especially with such a complicated topic like anxiety, to make like a point and get it across in such a short time frame. Like, because the game, I think I finished it in even less than 30 minutes. But I like I was enjoying myself, and I was liking it so much I wanted it to be longer. But like, it's kind of uh, conciseness is also what makes it, I think, so effective.
Yeah.
Because like that's what it's there for. It's there basically to just be like, hey, you want to know what it's like to live with anxiety? Let me tell you. in these 28 minutes or whatever. And
Yeah.
I really, really empathize with the character. And like, because the whole point of the game is that it tells you and encourages you that when you're picking the anxieties, you're playing as the anxiety. So you have to pick options that you think would trigger your own anxiety for it to like work the best.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was so effective.
I
And
thought
I think it explained itself very, very well.
it was really interesting because like as we started the game, I expected to be the main character. I didn't expect like the human. I didn't expect the main character to be the anxiety, and I think it's really interesting that it took it as a spin of like the anxiety is this like what like a fox, a wolf,
It's a
something
fox.
It's a fox, right?
Was it a fox?
I thought it was a
thought
wolf. Was it a fox?
I thought
Maybe
it was
it's
a
a wolf.
Some
maybe-
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it made
you're
a
right.
wolf
It's a
joke.
wolf. It's a wolf.
I think it is a wolf.
It's a wolf.
Yeah. You both said that so definitively that I had no idea which way to go. But like I like that like they basically frame anxiety as a protector. It's a concept that I had never really
I thought that
about
was
it in
really
that way.
interesting too.
Basically being like your anxiety is just trying to protect you, not harm you, right? Which I
Hurt
think
you.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like I think anxiety is such like as a topic is always talked about as negative, right? Because I think inherently it kind of almost is, especially when you're dealing with it. It doesn't feel like a positive thing. And for the game to frame it as not something as positive, but that's something that's trying to protect or help you, I thought was a really, really interesting way to set that up. And especially like the terms of like these battles, right? Darren, like you were saying, the game kind of encourages you, like it gives you a set of 3 options and like you have to choose what makes you the most anxious, right? Are you anxious about being a bad person? Are you anxious about being alone? Or are you anxious about, what was the last one? Not being loved?
So yeah, not being loved,
There's
being
one with
unloved.
hurting yourself.
Yeah, so it's like physical danger, or
Yes.
or
Being alone.
or being a bad person.
Being a bad person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of distills these kind of topics into just these 3 things, and the game comments on that. They're like, yep, these are the only 3 things that cause anxiety. Yeah, these are the only 3. So like it handles itself in a way that like it's not trying to be the answer, Darren, like you were saying. It's just trying to give perspective, and I found it really, really interesting how it kind of portrays anxiety as this wannabe protector, not as something that's out to harm you, and just it uses its harm in a way to protect you. And I thought that was a really, really interesting way to frame it.
Can I?
I just liked the. Yes, go ahead.
You can go first, because I think I was going to shift the focus a little bit, so I want you to say what you were going to say.
Yeah, because I didn't get to talk yet because you
Yeah.
guys been talking about it.
Sorry.
But no, it's okay. I'm just messing. I really liked the comedic aspect of the game, which like you guys didn't really like touch on, but like I think it really helped the overall like delivery of the game itself. It didn't take itself too seriously, which I really thought was like well done. And I agreed with Matt with the whole protecting, and like that made a lot of sense to me though. I don't know if it made sense to you, but like it made sense to me because like when I have anxiety, it is kind of like I'm protecting myself. I shouldn't do this because this is going to harm me in some way or some form. So like it just like it really clicked for me. Like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So like when I was thinking about the girl, the creator of the game, I was like, this must be how she sees anxiety. Like this is how it affects her.
Go, Darren.
But
Go.
I'm sorry. I keep talking over everybody. I'm really bad at this.
Just go.
It's fine.
Speak, boy.
I was going to bring up, I'm very happy that you both brought up the idea that that it's interesting that the game kind of frames anxiety as a helper, because a long time ago, one of our episodes of the podcast, I think we brought up anxiety, and I was talking about this one book that really helped me deal with my own anxiety when I was having a hard time dealing with it. And I couldn't remember the name of the book. I realized now that I think I left the book in Korea, but I did find the name of the book, and the book was called First We Make the Beast Beautiful. And the way it helped me understand my own anxiety was by framing it in that exact way. Is that anxiety is kind of just our fight or flight response, just tuned up to 11. And if you think about anxiety as a something that's trying to help you, even though it's not doing a very good job, it kind of helps put it into perspective a bit better. And like, so I think it was so smart for the game to frame it that way. And yeah, with the humor, like you were saying, Destiny, it just like makes it really easy to like want to agree with it.
Yeah, it's a perspective that I'd never really considered, because dealing with my own anxiety, it always feels like this kind of overbearing presence that it's just, it's for me, it comes a lot with like, there are things that I know that I should be doing. Like, for example, starting the new show right over on YouTube took me a lot longer than I wanted to, because I've had the idea for a while, but like every time I thought about doing it, my anxiety would immediately kick in and be like, no, don't do that. What if people don't like it? What if this? What if that? Right. And it's just like, there's a lot that I know that I should be doing or I could be doing. And my anxiety is just kind of just sits on my chest all the time. And it feels like, here's all the reasons why not to do it. And my own problem with that is that I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like I shouldn't do it. And I feel like it's, at least up until now, the way I've always looked at it is it's always been like a barrier, not something that I can work with. It's a problem that I need to work through. So I appreciated that perspective, because I think it kind of gives me a different way to try and look at it. And like the game tells you that too, right? Like there's no easy answer. There's no quick fix. It's not something that will just change. It's something that you have to continuously work on and work with. And there'll be times when you react badly, and there'll be times where you deal with it badly or you avoid it or whatever. And the game wears its heart on its sleeve throughout the entire process. And I think that like, it was interesting to see it take that route, because I thought it's at least given me a new way to kind of try and think about this anxiety creature, right? Where like even at the end, when you meet another character and you see their own anxiety, it's like a different kind of animal, right? So like I feel like, and they name them and stuff. I thought it was a really, really creative way to do it. So what I'm curious about is, did either one of you go like the bad route? Like, you know how there's at one point in the story, the game tells you like,
where she can commit suicide.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I think for me, I purposely tried not to kill the main character, regardless of how I was feeling. Like, I feel like I gave all the answers up to that point to how I was feeling. But like when I realized that like my choices could possibly put the game character in danger, I automatically went into like, I need to answer the best way possible to keep her from doing this. And I almost feel like the game wants you to do that, because then that way you're like overcoming your anxiety and doing what you need to do in order to help someone. It kind of pushes you like, all right, like you can either be like this, or you can like do what you think is the best thing to help this person, which is kind of like what you have to deal with yourself. Like when you were saying that it took you forever to do the show, like at some point you had to get past that and push yourself to actually create it. So I think that was really well handled. Like I was very nervous actually playing that part. I was so scared I was going to make the wrong decision.
Yeah, that's probably like the fastest you've ever gotten, like, or I've gotten in like nervous about a character. But yeah, I've only been playing the game for like 15 minutes at this point, and then just like the way they phrase it, and I think the humor leading up to it makes it hit harder when you realize, oh God, I actually could cause this person like serious physical harm if I don't say the right thing.
Yeah, I got really, really, funny enough, anxious about it right away, because I was like, and the game tells you like this can go two ways, and one of them is really bad, right? And it kind of like puts that on you right from the beginning of the conversation. And I was kind of like, do I want to kind of replay it quick to see that kind of storyline? I couldn't bring myself to do it. I just didn't want to. There was no part of me that was like, let me go back and
Yeah.
see what
I didn't go
what
back
happens.
and see it.
And I think the game sets that up in such a way that like you don't want to, obviously, right? But like even like stuff like Detroit, right? Like I would go back and make bad choices just to see what happens in that game. But for this one, I was just like, no. I don't even want to see that timeline. I don't want to go down that road.
Why do you think that is? Like, what's the difference between Detroit and playing this game?
Honestly, I think it's the writing. I feel like this game felt very human in a way that's just like very relatable, and the way that it's written kind of presents itself like I've had these thoughts. You know what I mean? Like it's not such an abstract concept that like I've thought about going to this party, and I've thought about every single one of these options leading up to going to this party, and I feel like things like Detroit or even something else, like they're usually more grandiose and they're more ridiculous. This is such like a, like Darren, like you were saying, it's brevity.
It just hits home.
It's brevity like helps it because it's not like a go save the world thing. It's like, can you make it to this party? If you at this party, how do you handle yourself?
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
To either of you, so if you were having, like, if you're someone who's struggling with anxiety, I mean, it's a dumb question, but like, do you recommend playing the game if you're having like an anxious episode? Like, do you think it will have a positive effect?
I think
like
so.
during the anxious episode or like after?
I think after, because you probably during the anxious episode, it's probably not a good idea to maybe try and trigger that.
Right.
But.
Well, I knew both of you have anxiety issues, which is why I told you to play the game.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of helped give me a bit of a new perspective because like I hadn't read that book that you were talking about, and I had never really considered anxiety in this kind of perspective. So I feel like it should be played, even if you do have anxiety or struggle with it, because I feel like getting to that second route of the very, very bad choice, I feel like it's more difficult than it leads on. And like you'd have to purposely try and go that route, which is where I felt like I started to get nervous very quickly at that section. I feel like it's a game meant to be informative and almost therapeutic in a way, not one to mess with your anxiety. It's meant to help you cope, if that makes sense. What do you think, Darren?
I think so too.
What do
Sorry,
I? What do I? No.
Yeah. What do you
think?
Same question. Like, do you think that it should be played by people with anxiety, or do you think that it's something that's...
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That's why I was like, should I even ask this question, because I feel like it just so obviously should be played. Because I think like anybody who's struggling with anxiety, if they're having a hard time understanding what to like do or why it's kind of like taking over them, or even just how to explain it to somebody who doesn't understand what it feels like, I think this is the best way I've ever seen anxiety explained. Like, I don't think I've seen it in like such a short time frame. Just like, this is exactly what the experience is like.
I also like that beings like the creatures take the form of clothing when they're not in the your play state, right? Like when she's just walking around, you see them with the hoodie, right? The wolf takes the place of a hoodie, and I actually really like that that idea, because sometimes it does, at least my anxiety feels like something that I'm wearing. Like it feels like it's just weighing on me. So this idea of your anxiety being a part of you in such a way that like it's your clothing, it's something that you put on, that you wear, and it's not something that you can easily take off. I really liked that idea and how the game showcased that.
I'm like, I don't know why I forgot it was a wolf, but did you guys pick up on the fact that it was like a play on the Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood?
No.
Oh my god, I did not notice that at all.
I did not.
Yeah, that's why the hood is red, and like,
right.
And he's seen as like the big bad wolf, like her anxiety is the big bad wolf. Yeah.
I did not pick up on that at all. But
I
so
feel
what I
so
want to ask
dumb. Oh my
Right?
god.
No, don't.
It's so obvious. Ah.
not for us big dummies. Destiny's like, this is Little Red Riding Hood. I'm like, that's how it has ears. So what I want to ask you then before we move off of this, because I think we all like the game a lot, and I think we all agree that it should be played. But what I want to ask you then is, how do you deal with your own anxiety, right? Like, what are things that you guys like to do to kind of help yourself through an anxious episode, or how do you find yourself dealing with it? Darren, I'll ask you first.
Well, once again, I would like to plug that book again. It's I just deleted off my page. It's called First We Make the Beast Beautiful, a journey through anxiety, and it's by Sarah Wilson. So I highly recommend that book if anybody else is dealing with anxiety and wants to try and, I don't know, you want to try and fix it. I've read a bunch of self-help books, and that's the one that's resonated with me the most. And like I said, through the book, it kind of frames anxiety as a way of like, and just like the game, it's a guard dog. It's a wolf. It's trying to like tell you danger, 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 danger. And just like in the end of the game, where the main character kind of just, kind of just accepts it. Like, you're gonna be with me, and I'm gonna be with you. We're gonna have to learn to get along. We're gonna have to learn to work together. And so what I do is when I'm having an anxious episode, I try to frame it in that sense. And I almost try to frame it like I'm having a conversation with my anxiety, where I think, okay, what are you trying to tell me? What do you think is the danger? Is this actually dangerous? What's like, what, like, is there a compromise I can make? Like, if I'm anxious about work, like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to probably do some work, like use the anxiety more as like a guide to try and find other problems that maybe you can fix so that you can try and feel a little more control. So
I
try and think of it as like a guiding force rather than an antagonist.
I like that a lot. Destiny, what about you? What do you think? What are some ways that you deal with your anxiety, or at times where you feel anxious?
Sometimes, because I have anxiety about a lot of things. Like, the reason why I hate being on camera is like I have like crazy anxiety about it. Like every time we have a podcast, I'm like stressed, like a lot, because I just don't want to be on cam because I'm just afraid of what like people are gonna think when they see me. You know, because I have no control over it, kind of thing. Right. So, and I don't really work through it. It's just like you have to do it. So that's one thing like I can't really work through because I know like I have to do it. And it's more like I just told you guys like sometimes I'm not going to be on cam. And like that was either like okay. You guys were going to be like that's okay, or if you're going to be like that's not okay, then I would have to be like I can't do this because I can't always work through it. And then sometimes I think I depend a lot on like just certain people in my life because like I have like imposter syndrome and like I just never think I'm good enough, like no matter what. So I just have certain people in my life who are like, they just know that that's me and they're constantly like pointing out the things that I have accomplished because when I get in that space, like I don't remember that I got a master's degree and I don't remember the things that I've done. Like for example, like at work or whatever, like Matt and I would be like really stressed out and like anxious and you would have to be like, no, you're a good teacher. Like you've done this, you've done this, you've done this. Like when I'm in that zone, I can't think of any of those things that I've done.
You can't see it when you're in it, right? Like this.
It's just really hard. So I guess for me, I haven't really found a way to work through my anxiety by myself because I do have a lot of conversations with myself, but they tend to it's like a downward spiral. Like I can't talk myself out of it into like a good position.
Hmm.
And then when I get to that point, like I have to talk to somebody.
Mhm.
Like, and then those people are usually the people who are like, nah, dude, like it's not like that. Like you really need to like, but like in a gentle way, because I can't have somebody like yelling at me about it.
Yeah.
Does that make
No, of
sense?
No, it
course,
does
yeah,
make
yeah. In
sense.
that state, you don't want to be you don't want it thrown at you. You need to be comforted and help brought
Yeah.
back out of it, not kicked further in, right? Like it's
Yes.
And
Yes.
can I
So
can I say really quickly, you just said that you haven't really found a way to work through it, but I do also want to point out for things like you're anxious about being on camera. You're on camera right now. You are
yeah, I
already
know.
you're facing the thing that is giving you anxiety head on. That is a hardcore example of working through it. You're facing
yeah.
your
I was gonna
fear.
say
I know, but like you guys, like as soon as you post the video, I'm like ripping it apart. Not like you or Matt. I'm just ripping it apart. Like I just hate everything about it. Like I just hate it. But like
Mhm.
I try not to. I realize, sorry, my earbud fell out. I realize for me, I'm not going to be able to watch these. I'm going to have to listen to them.
yeah.
Yeah.
It,
But I think that
so,
there's
yeah.
nothing really wrong with that though, because it's also this thing of it being new. And it's like this constant source of anxiety comes from this, right? I was in a similar place when I was starting to do the other show, right? Whereas it's like the more you do it, the easier it'll get because, like Darren said, you are facing it, regardless if you're going back and watching the video or not, right? That doesn't matter as much as you actually confronting it. And I think that's important, right? The more you do it, I think the easier it'll get. Just because right
I
now it's
agree.
this
Yeah.
unknown
We've only done it
intent.
twice.
Yeah,
So,
it's this
Yeah.
unknown intangible thing of fear and anxiety and overblown mental processes of considering every single way that it could go wrong. So when you start to see that it doesn't, it starts to get easier, right? But like Darren said, the fact is you already took the biggest step of all of actually doing it. The rest will just be doing it more, right?
And
And
you don't
kind
have
of
to
taking
watch it.
power
yeah.
away from it. Yeah.
You don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
We both know
I know
Despite
Darren
how
it's
doesn't watch our
silly.
shit.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
know
say
it's silly because we've done like let's plays, but let's plays are like short, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not just directed on me. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
feel like with this, it's a little different. But I do think like after time, it'll get better. I think the first step was doing it for Mr. Midas.
Yeah.
And you saw how fucking like stressed I was
Yeah.
with being on camera.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there's so many people who watches his shit.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah.
Just
Yeah,
bit by
I
bit.
hey,
And
Yeah.
I definitely don't listen to our podcast, and I'm sorry. And it's because I hate the sound of my own voice, despite how much I talk. I hate it. And all you jerks out there who agree with me, at least we're on the same page. That we both hate the sound of my voice.
I can
We're
start
on the
putting like a
same
voice
page here.
modulator on. I can start putting a voice modulator on you if you want, so you just sound like a cat or like a dog the entire time.
Meow, 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 meow.
Sir, I have to inform you, I am not a cat. Did you see that video of the lawyer?
Yeah, the cat lawyer.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
cat lawyer.
Yeah, I agree, Destiny. I think that like it's really hard to see progress when you're in that state, right? All because the only thing that comes up in those moments is just overwhelming negativity and everything going wrong and all the potential, like in the game, right? What is this going to go wrong? Is this going to go wrong? Is this going to go wrong? And it's impossible to drag yourself out of it sometimes. And I found myself like I'll put on music very, very quickly if I'm in a state like that. Um, because I feel like it kind of helps take away from it a little bit. And sometimes when I'm like that and I'm feeling depressed and anxious, I'll put on very depressed music. You know what I mean? Things
Same.
that
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes you have to go a little bit deeper into it before you can start to make your way back out. As weird as that sounds, like I feel like you need to kind of feel it out sometimes.
Somebody, it helps you, right?
Yeah.
Because like for me, it's like, oh, this person feels really shitty too. Like
Yeah.
we're on this journey together, and then after a point, I'm just like, or sometimes I don't even realize I'm listening to really sad music, and it like music affects my mood so much. So like
Likewise.
if I just have like YouTube playing, and then all of a sudden my mood drops. And then I realize I'm listening to some really sad fucking music and I have to switch it up. Like it really like just triggers my moods without me even thinking. I don't know if that happens to you guys, but
No, me too. Music will shift things very, very quickly depending on the song, depending on the time. So I feel like taking that time for yourself sometimes, if you're in that space, is really important. I also just like to take like a hot shower sometimes. Like I feel like it kind of helps like break the cycle.
Get
a little
naked.
bit. Yeah, get naked. No, I shower with my clothes on. Sorry, I wasn't clear there.
Obviously.
But no, I you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna tell a story. Darren, I had a dream about you the other day.
Oh no.
And it wasn't
Don't
just
tell
you.
me I was naked.
No.
No.
But
I had to think about that for a second.
we were with the guys like Lucas and Al and Aaron. Everybody was like in my apartment in Korea, and we were going to go out and do something. So I was like, I'm gonna go take a shower, and I got into the shower with my clothes on, and the rest of you idiots all followed me in. They're like, we need to shower too, and we all showered together with our clothing on. But then it ended up with us like fighting each other and trying to push each other. It's like, no, I want to use the shower first. No, I want to use the shower first. And
Was
then I woke
Senna
up.
in this dream?
She was in the living room when, I don't know, the rest of us decided to go take a shower
I love that.
with our clothes on.
Because I figured if she was in the dream, she'd be like, what the fuck?
I'm pretty sure she was. Like, it ended up being us fighting pretty quickly. But anyways, that's why I froze for a second there, because I was like, do I tell the story? And then I just went, fuck it. Boy group shower, clothes
it.
on.
Yay.
Yay. But yeah, I think music is huge. I think taking the time for yourself and understanding that just because you're in it doesn't mean you're going to stay there, and just sometimes confronting it helps take the power away a little bit. But that's anxiety. Some days are good, some days are bad, and shit happens and we move on.
Yeah.
Darren, what's that face?
I'm just smiling about the story still. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, that's my dreams for you. All right, well, let's hop off anxiety and hop on to some news. The first article that we're going to be starting with comes from IGN, and it says over 20 ID at Xbox games are launching day one with Xbox Game Pass. This is coming from Adam Bankhurst. Microsoft and Twitch presented the first Twitch gaming showcase ID at Xbox event today, and it featured over 20 games, including Drinkbox Studios' new game, Nobody Saves the World, that will be launching day one with Game Pass. And there will also be like 20 more launching on Game Pass day and date, lots of indie games. So this is really cool. Lots of support for Game Pass. And if anybody's curious, Drinkbox is the studio behind things like behind Guacamelee, and the new game Nobody Saves the World looks pretty interesting. But Game Pass just continues to kill the game. It's insane how much value there is on that platform, and it's crazy to see how much more it's getting. Darren, do you think Game Pass is going to be something that sticks around? Do you think Sony's going to follow suit? And why do you think so many developers are choosing to back it up?
Well, for the last question, there's got to be some kind of good deal where Microsoft gives them like a bunch of money, so like they feel like it's worth it to put their game on Game Pass.
Especially day one.
Especially day one, because Microsoft has been doing a lot of work to try and get developers to like do things on their platform, and I feel like they're attracting more and more developers. They've just been spending a lot of money in general, like buying developers too. So
yeah.
I think Sony's thinking about it for sure, because recently they just did a promo either in the US or Europe where you can get a month of PlayStation Now for $3. So
no, it's $1. It's worldwide actually. $1 for it's they're taking Game Pass's thing where Game Pass was saying you can get a month for $1, and they're essentially offering the same deal. The weird thing is that it runs out in like a couple days. Like it was a very, very short-term deal. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But go on.
Yeah, no, okay, so yeah, this shows that Sony's thinking about it, but they are just doing everything they can to not do everything they can, because they're not really doing anything. Like they do, yeah, exactly. They do it for $1, they half-ass it, and they're really not improving the library that much. So like, it's I don't know. PlayStation Now is still like not a good deal for me. Um, so
I agree. I think they need to get a lot more aggressive about it if they want to make it a priority. They need to get a lot more games on there day and date. Like that's the biggest draw for Game Pass for me, is being able to play a new game as it comes out for quote unquote free, as long as you're subscribed. And I think Sony needs to get a lot more aggressive with it if they want to follow it, because every time Game Pass comes up, it's just positive news about it, right? There hasn't really been a
Yeah.
negative Game Pass story.
And I want them to make it so that you can actually download PS3 games. I know that's a big ask, but having to stream only PS3 games is a problem. And I want them to start offering PS2 games at the very least. Game Pass has some Xbox original games on it, doesn't it?
It does.
Like,
Yep.
I think, yeah, they've got games for 4 generations of consoles on Game Pass. Like, Sony, what are you doing? Just give me
Yeah.
PS2 games. Give me PS3 games download. Like, you've got the bigger library. You could do such a like Sony could have it easily if they wanted to, but they're just not trying.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of hoping that with PlayStation 5 they were going to turn it around, but I mean, I guess we'll see if they take any steps going forward. Destiny, Game Pass is on PC, and you seem to enjoy your Apple Arcade. Is there a reason why you haven't checked out Game Pass on PC where there's lots of free games? Or is it just
gonna be honest with you?
Mhm.
I haven't even played 80% of the games that I have on Steam. So
you got a huge backlog.
Yeah, because like I'll be like, oh, this is cool, and I'll buy it, and then like I'll just never get to it, and I just really don't need another option right now. Like I need to focus and play the games that
that you
I have
Yeah.
that I've spent money on, and I just
So here's the thing.
like I was playing Anxiety, and I still haven't played any of the games that I've spent like tons of money on.
Because here's the thing, Octopath is also on Game Pass.
I already bought it.
Yeah. So I think
like
it's
ages ago. I forgot I even had it, and I was
Oh,
like
really?
scrolling through my library, and I was like, "Oh, this
Oh my
looks
goodness.
interesting." Download. Like literally, that's what happened.
Yeah, the backlog is huge. I know. I completely understand. So I think
Yeah.
Game Pass, I think it's doing lots of good things, and I hope they keep it up, and I hope Sony starts doing something about it. Our next,
I have a question.
yeah,
Sorry.
go.
Okay, this is random. It's kind of random, but not really. Okay, so I still have a PS3,
Mhm.
right? I kept it because I'm not going to give it away.
Mhm.
So have you guys ever had something happen where your controller just like it's haunted and it just pushes buttons and stuff on its own?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that like it's dead? I need to throw it away?
No, it probably means that it's like dirty on the inside. You probably have to open it up and clean it.
So I should throw it away?
I was gonna say that's a lot of work. Destiny's not gonna do. As soon as you like
Is
open it up, her face is like. Mm.
Is it the stick that's doing it or the buttons?
The buttons. Okay, so this is and it's on both of my controllers. So at first I thought maybe my PS3 is dying because I haven't like used it in a long time, but it's both the controllers. So like it was working once, and then like I was watching Netflix because that's like what I usually do on it. And then all of a sudden it just started going crazy. Like the buttons just started doing shit themselves, and I hadn't even touched the controller.
That's really weird.
Yeah. So it stopped Netflix, and then it started like flickering, and that wasn't the PS3. It was literally the controller doing something, but I wasn't touching it.
Does it
Did you see
happen
the buttons
outside of
going
Netflix?
up and down?
No.
So
The
it's
buttons
not a
weren't
real
moving.
ghost.
It was just like, yeah, not a real ghost. I wish. That'd be dope. But I used my friend's controller, and it works fine. So it's just my two controllers that don't work.
Was
Yeah,
it
that's
only
So I'm like-
Netflix?
No, like it's the overall thing. It just
Yeah.
Like on the systems menu? That's weird. No, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
you can always try and just keep using it and then hope it goes away from use. Like if there is some dirt, maybe just using it more will like make the dirt move somewhere else. But yeah,
Just go there and
I
slam
ordered
the
a new
buttons over and over
controller.
again.
yeah.
I'm
I
just
mean, there you
like,
go.
look, I don't know if I'm a purist. I don't even know if that's the right word, but I didn't want to order a new controller because it wasn't Sony. It's like an off brand,
Third
and that
party,
really
yeah.
bothers me.
That bothers
Yeah,
me
and
too.
first party
So
Sony.
I was like, what the fuck? I have 2 actual Sony controllers. I do not want to order something that's not like originally for the system.
Yeah, I get you.
So
Well, I hopefully you can perform a seance and cleanse your PS3
no, when I come to
controllers of-
Canada, since Darren has talked about cleaning, I'm bringing them.
Just
So-
shove
I'll
a
fix it. I'll
vacuum
fix
next
it
to the
for you.
controller.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay, it's
Ah,
2 of them.
husband duties.
Shut your mouth.
You know what? We'll use this as a good opportunity to go into our next story, which is coming from Eurogamer from Matt Wales. Sony confirms PS3, PSP, and Vita digital stores closing for good this summer. So he writes, writing on the PlayStation website and corroborating an earlier report by The Gamer, Sony confirmed it would be closing the PS3 store on July 2nd, and that all remaining PSP purchase functionality will cease at the same time. So that's July 2nd, PS3 and PSP are going down. The Vita store will close on August 27th. So basically, these stores are going to go down. You will not be able to purchase anything. You will still be able to download the content that you've already paid for. So any movies or PS3 or PSP or Vita games that you own, you'll still be able to download on the systems themselves. But like the website is already gone off of like computers, like it's inactive. So if you want to buy anything from the PS3, the PSP, or the Vita stores, you have to do that before July 2nd and August 27th because those stores are going down, and you'll still be able to download your stuff, but you will not be able to purchase anything more.
I think that's stupid. I do.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid because, like, when I look at my PS3, like, it's like in perfect, other than the controller issue,
Yeah.
it's like it was like so well designed. It works flawlessly. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's not something that like over time has been like, damn, I really need to get a whole new system because this one's just not functioning anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend. He's like, why do you still, well, when I first told him about the controllers, he's like, do you mean PS4? And I was like, no, I mean PS3 because it still works. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird that I still have it, but like it works and it's like beautiful. Like when you turn it on, like like it's great. So why get rid of it? Like people obviously still use it because the PS4 is not backwards compatible.
Exactly.
So
It's even this is what makes me mad as well, is that Sony's doing this when there is no other legal way to play a lot of the games on that store, because Sony does not have the whole library on PlayStation Now. It's not like getting rid of the store is going to make me want to buy PlayStation Now, and the PS4 and PS5 are not backwards compatible. So like, how else are you going to play some of these games?
But how often are you going back to your PS3, buying a PS3 game to play on your PS3?
That's not the point.
That is
I
the
want
point,
the
though,
option.
right?
No,
but
I
that's
want
just
the
server
option.
costs and stuff, right? Like they're just.
They have money. It's
Yeah,
not
sure,
like
but, like,
Sony's going broke.
If they're seeing that like a 0.01% of people are still
Then
using
hire
the functionality.
then hire 2 people to handle it. People need jobs right now, Matt. There's no excuse. All right.
It's also about game history preservation. If this media is to be considered an art form, it's got to be treated like an art form. There are entire frickin' societies and universities and places dedicated to film preservation, book preservation. Why is there no game preservation situation? Games are so technology dependent that if we don't have ways to preserve them, then like we're just going to lose all this history.
Because like once we stopped like making VHS tapes, we put all that shit on DVDs. And then once you stop using DVDs, you put it on streaming sources or ways to download it. But there's no way to get a lot of these games, you know? So I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm a purist or whatever. I don't even know what that means, but
there's a lot of people that share your viewpoint, Destiny. Like that was a very common reaction to it. Like for me, meh. Like if I already own the games that I want to play, and they're not taking away my access from playing those games. But like, there's nothing new coming to the store. You know what I mean? Like, there's no massive reason why. Like, I'm not in a year from now I'm gonna be like, you know what? I really want to play that PS3 game that I haven't thought about or played in 10 years. I have to go.
But some people do. Like some
And
people
I will.
replay games and they enjoy it. Like,
Well,
a game that they like grew up playing.
Yeah.
Like I still play like freaking fucking Streets of Rage 2, and that was like on Sega. It was on Sega, Matt.
I
Sega.
understand that, but like if you own the game, then you can still play it. They're not taking away your ability to play the game.
I can play it on Steam, but I can't play it on the other system anymore because like, but I would love to play it on the other system. I think the thing is that like they're not losing anything by keeping it up, really.
Money. That's it.
Not enough.
We don't know.
I don't feel like it's enough money.
We don't know how much it actually costs. I don't think any three of us actually. I don't want to make a claim because I don't know. I don't think either of us.
I'm making
any
claims.
Of us know.
I'm countering
how much
the
it
claim.
costs to keep. How much it costs
I'm making claims because I just don't think it would cost that much to keep it up. I'm sorry. Sony owns so much shit. They own so much shit. They are constantly rolling in the money. Like, come on.
And there, like I said, there are certain games, and this is why I don't want to go digital only in the future, because there will be certain games that are only playable digitally that were released like arcade style games, indie games that were PS3 exclusive or whatever. The only way to ever buy them would be have an active PlayStation 3 store, subscription, whatever, not subscription. God damn it,
have the
preserve
functionality.
The games.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah. There are games
preserve
that
the
disappear
games.
in history. I don't want to lose these games.
So then go. So you have until July 2nd.
Or make their systems backwards compatible.
Yeah, that too.
Yep. Well, if you are looking to pick up something from that era, do so before July 2nd and August 27th, because then you won't be able to. But anyways, let's quickly mosey on through our last two stories. The first one, Ghost of Tsushima movie from John Wick director in development. This is coming from IGN from Matt Purslow. According to a new report from Deadline, Chad Stahelski, John Wick director, will be making a Ghost of Tsushima movie. He is going to work alongside producers Alex Young and Jason Spitz from the company 8711 Entertainment. Peter Kang of game developer Sucker Punch Productions will oversee the project on behalf of the studio, which will serve as executive producers. Darren, are you stoked on a Ghost of Tsushima movie?
I am so stoked to watch it when it never comes out.
You think so?
There are so many game movies that get announced and just like never come out. So like, I am actually shocked that Uncharted is coming out because I think Last of Us 2, that's coming out as well. That's going to be coming for HBO Max or whatever that's doing that one.
Yep.
But there was like a Metroid movie that was announced that never came out, a BioShock movie that was announced that never came out. What else was there? There's like a whole bunch of like old school arcade style games that were like films that were announced that never come out. Like there's not the Halo movie announced that never came out. So many games get allegedly like started production and just for various reasons never actually materialize because I don't actually think there's a huge market for video game movies. They're risky. They don't really make a lot of money historically.
I think that Sony is going to gear up. Like they've announced another couple movies as well, like a Twisted Metal thing, and there's something else. I think they're getting ready to push harder and harder in that direction. I think this game actually lends itself pretty easily to be a movie.
Sorry, I didn't mention about the quality, but I think it would be a good movie.
Yeah, I think it can translate. I really want the actor from the game to be the actor for the movie. I know that won't happen. His name was Daisuke Tsuji. He's an actual actor, and he did all the mocap for the game, and like he was the voice actor in the dubbed version.
That makes too much sense, Matt. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, I know Sony technically like tends to go for bigger Hollywood names for their video game movies, so like I don't think that'll happen. I hope it does, but I don't see it going that way.
Well, if they do use him, they'll just like get like a white guy who has a really big name to be in it too. That's how they do it.
Yeah,
That's
no,
not
you're
even
100%
me
right.
trying to be funny. That's what
Yeah.
they do.
No, I know.
Yep.
I laugh because it's true.
Yeah.
There'll be some white guy named Scarlett
Stupid
Johansson.
Tom
I
Cruise.
love him, her, them in every movie that him, her, them has ever made.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with it. Like, that's all we have an announcement, we have nothing else. And our very last story, because I know this is going to tug at Darren's heart. Pokemon Go developer Niantic is making a Pikmin game. This is coming from Eurogamer from Tom Phillips. A new Pikmin mobile game is in the works from Pokemon Go developer Niantic. Nintendo and Niantic announced they will work together on multiple new projects, the first of which will be a mobile AR Pikmin experience due to release in 2021. Darren, Pikmin is coming. It's coming to your phone. You're going to go outside and find some Pikmin. Does this do anything for you?
I mean, I'd rather have Pikmin 4, but I guess I'll take a Pikmin mobile game. I think that's kind
Gotta
of
compromise sometimes.
yeah, I gotta compromise. It's kind of crazy that they decided to make a Pikmin game because like Pikmin's not one of Nintendo's more popular franchises. So it's the fact that it's getting like a Niantic style like AR game. Did they confirm it's going to be an AR game?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really think there's a lot that you can do with that as well. So I'm kind of confused more than excited.
I've never really
about how it's
played
gonna
Pikmin,
work.
but like the Pikmin themselves aren't really known for having a ton of personality and like defining characteristics outside of the different colors that they have. Like
They're
there
like
aren't,
lemmings.
That's not true. Okay? Let me tell you, all of the Pikmin have very different personalities. The yellow ones are a little bit jumpier. The red ones are more brave.
No. No, that's what I'm saying. Outside of like the color separation, right? Like red is different
Oh,
than
okay.
yellow, but like two red Pikmin aren't that different, are they?
No, they look
Like
identical.
it's not this fucking
No,
red
no.
Pikmin feels this way about this, and this red Pikmin like likes Pepsi.
Yeah, well,
You should have just let him continue his rant because that was great. Let me tell you about the motherfucking rainbow of Pikmin.
They all have diverse personalities. Don't you fucking
Okay,
slander?
the yellow one
They're-
is obviously more jumpy. Like, get it together.
Stupid.
Oh, I
God.
think in the game, they're focused less on collecting Pikmin and more on collecting like real world objects. So I think that's what the game's going to be based around. Like you'll find like a Duracell battery, or you'll find like an orange, and you'll find like a bottle cap.
So
so
Niantic's gonna
This
be like,
sounds
hey,
really
Niantic's
fun.
gonna be like, you want a pencil? Go walk 4 kilometers. Fuck
yeah,
no.
basically.
No, thank you. I better be collecting Pikmin, or I'm not gonna fucking play shit.
Yeah, but like you said, there's no pull to collecting Pikmin because they all look the same.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna give them personalities or different defining characteristics. Maybe this Pikmin's missing an eye.
Is this this is a game on the phone, right?
Yeah, like a
it's fun
Pokemon Go
game.
style. Walk around. You have to actually.
They're not
go
going to give
places
them
and-
more personality.
No, this Pikmin has a hat. Like,
I'm serious. I really do think that's what they're gonna do. They're like, here is baseball cap red Pikmin. Here is fucking chef hat yellow Pikmin.
it's going to be so because when you collect the object, it's not just like this is a pencil. Like they give them like weird names. Like orange is called a citrus lump, and like the Duracell battery is called like the alien power booble or whatever. I don't know. They give them like really
Booble?
weird booble. I don't know. They call them
Booble.
give them weird
Michael
names.
Bublé.
Yeah.
So okay. So you think you're gonna be collecting objects, not Pikmin?
Yeah.
I think
Because
you're
that's what you do
wrong.
in the real. That's what you do in the real game. As
Ooh,
well.
let's make a wager.
Let's make a bet.
We already
I think
have
you're
like
gonna be
3
collecting-
bets on the backlog.
We're gonna work on
That's
them.
because Matt doesn't do what he's supposed to do. It takes him
That's-
too long.
That's because nobody's given me the terms and qualifications of the things that I need to do.
What?
We've
Anyways.
Oh
already
my
said
god.
very definitively.
We're gonna-
We have multiple times.
What?
Katamari Damacy.
How?
Matt,
I'll
you
get-
make time and Darren will figure out how
Yeah.
to make you play it.
He's gonna clean your controllers and get me to play Katamari.
But that's not until I get there.
Yeah. So okay, Darren, you think it's gonna be objects? I think it's gonna be Pikmin that you're going to be running around and collecting. Right? Like I'm talking like you're gonna see Pikmin pop up on the map and you're gonna be like, oh, there's a red Pikmin. I'm gonna go get that one. And you think there's gonna be like on the map, there's gonna be like a battery, and you're gonna be like, gotta go get that thingamagog. Bobble.
Yep, that's exactly it. Yeah, that's what I think.
The Michael Blue Bay battery.
Blue Bay. Okay. What are the terms and conditions of this wager? Let's decide and then wrap the show up.
Oh, I had something I wanted to say that was news that Jackie told me. I don't know if we talked about it, but Diablo 2 is being resurrected.
Oh yeah. We never mentioned that.
They're doing like a
really
remaster.
exciting.
That was back at like BlizzCon, I think. Yeah, Diablo 2 is coming back. Do you like
that was
Diablo?
it. That's
Destiny?
all I wanted to say. It's all right.
News with Destiny. Jared, let's say this. The loser has to
yes,
do
Matt,
something.
pick something that you won't do.
Something I won't do. I'm just saying, when I'm told what to do and how to do it, I'll do these things. But we'll work out the details, and we'll on the next show we'll iron out. We'll make the bet public.
We should let Mr. Midas pick. I think he would enjoy that. Pick what you have to do.
Yeah,
Darren.
I'm okay with that.
You don't seem
I'm
okay with
over.
that, but that's okay.
No, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good with that.
All right. Well, we'll figure out conditions. We'll go from there. But that has been the episode of the show. We ran long today, dang. But that's what talking about anxiety and Pikmin will do to us. If you liked what you heard, please go check it out over on YouTube. Throw us a sub. We're almost at 100 subs. Finally, we're only like 5 away, guys. We're almost there. And then go check out our other series called Hey, Did You Hear? Where we talk about some news stuff like a new Rocket League game and some Monster Hunter stuff. Go check out the show there. Check out the podcast over on YouTube for our beautiful faces and on any major podcast provider. Thank you so much for the support. We love it a lot, and show it even more. Get it out there even more. We want more. We're greedy motherfuckers, but that's how we roll. Darren, thank you for joining me. Destiny, it's been lovely as always. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Deuces.
Later.
Later. Bye.
That was so in sync.
I think
What?
like
Damn it.
sorry.